Hi everyone, my name is Nima. I decided to make a video because my boys keep asking me to make a video and put it online. So I decided to make a video. Um, we live south of Adelaide in South Australia. Um, Now is autumn, second month of autumn here in Adelaide. Um, from a few years ago we decided to plant fruit trees. So I just make a video about basically touring our garden and showing you what we have. So that's our front of the house. As you can see, I'm a pomegranate lover and also fig lover. So I've got a few pomegranates and figs. So this one is a wonderful variety. It's actually first year fruiting. It's not bad, is it? It's doing very well at the moment. I got this plant by air layering from one of our friend's house. This one is unknown variety. It's sort of like a sweet and sour pomegranate. It's actually it's a second year fruiting. It's very productive. Then we have another unknown variety. This one is a sweet variety. Again, first year fruiting. It's very productive, very productive. And that is very young tree, planted a couple of months ago. It's a Roosevelt variety. So as you can see, that's the front. Okay, that is the other side of the front garden. This side I decided to make like a fig hedge. It's actually second time attempting. Last few years I decided to plant 4 figs here and make them like a espalier, but it didn't work. I didn't like the shape of them because they were so woody. So I replanted this again in the last 6 months. So they're quite a young trees. This winter I'll try to prune them hard and hopefully I get a nice frame shape for next spring. This one is unknown variety. I got it from a good friend of mine, Peter. Thanks, Peter. This one is Italian honey fig. So again, very productive, beautiful fig. This one is black Genoa, black fig, very tasty. And that is, I believe, Prusson prolific. Eventually all these 4 will be the same shape as this one, so basically one trunk and then vast shape canopy. So as you can see, in winter I'll probably cut it knee height and then hopefully I'll get a canopy, nice round canopy next year. That's the front of the front garden. As you can see, I planted my fruit trees very close to each other due to lack of space. Obviously that was my first project. If I get another house in future, I'll try to have more space between the trees. So I constantly have to keep my trees small Sometimes it's a challenge, but so far we were okay. As you can see, this one is unknown variety, another fig there, which I'm trying it. I air layered that last month from one of our friends, and I just planted here a couple of days ago, so it's very young. We move here. That's a miniature sort of nectarine tree there, again very young. I planted that maybe a couple of months ago. Locust tree, planted that last year. It's a sort of dwarf locust tree, and it's full of flowers, so hopefully give us some fruit this year. That's another miniature tree there. That is peach, yellow flesh peach. As you can see, between the trees I try to use the space for other things. So this one's like a rock melons, some type of Persian melon. It's the end of the season, I have to clean up, so they're not gonna ripe. It's too late in the season, but it gave us some fruit. They were okay. And another fig here, which is panache or tiger fig. Again, this one I planted it only last year, and this winter I have to cut it knee height to get a nice shaped canopy. Yeah. That was the front garden you just watched. That's our back garden. So we better start from this left corner here. This one is pink guava, 4 years old. Hasn't fruited yet. Flowered 2 years in a row, but it dropped all the flowers, so I'm hoping this year give me some fruit. The actual seed came from Queensland, so I'm hoping it's a very good variety, so let's see what happens. Next to that is one of my oldest trees, this one called Morello cherries. It's a sour cherry. I planted that about 15 years ago, so believe it or not, this tree is 15 years old. So that was one of the first tree I planted in this house when I moved in. So this one was one of them. Next to it, the orange was the one I planted 15 years ago as well, and that right at the back is a mandarin tree. So these threes been planted 15 years ago. So this one is Washington navel. I'll try to keep it as a hedge. As you can see, it's got sort of like a square shape to it. Very productive tree, give us a lot of oranges every year. It's like a square shaped orange tree. You might ask why this end is empty. I pruned that on purpose because that branch I grafted Cara orange tree to it, so that branch is different than the rest of the tree. So my graft is fruiting for first year this year. As you can see, I've got some pomegranates cutting underneath. So yeah, that's my Washington navel. I believe it's a late season Washington navel because when I leave it on tree to the end of the season, it gets very juicy and sweet. If I pick them early, they're not as sweet as like a late season ones. Next to that, I've got very young apricot tree. I've got the name of it. Oh, Trevet. This was a Trevet variety. I planted that 4 months ago. It's growing very well, as you can see. I trained it to a vase shape, so it's doing very well. I'm hoping it gives us some fruit next year. Not much, not many, of course. Still a baby tree. As you can see, I planted some chilies, so wherever I get a space I try to use it as much as I can. Our house is not very big, so we try to use the space wisely. This one is lemonade tree. Beautiful fruit, very refreshing fruit. I had this tree in the sort of half a wine barrel for a few years, and then wasn't doing very well, and then I planted a couple of years ago. I planted it in that spot, and then it went nuts. It's going crazy. So it's loving the spot, so I'm gonna leave it there. Here next to that I've got Meyer lemon tree, which is a couple of years old, doing well. And then behind that is a Japanese seedless mandarin. I think they're gonna ripen next couple of months, so they're doing okay actually. This year give me less fruit, but much bigger size, as you can see, much bigger size. So that's sort of like a citrus corner. Then at the back, you see the big tree is my imperial mandarin, that's the one is 15 years old. It was too tall. I tried to cut down a little bit so to be more manageable. Next to that I've got Arnold blood orange. I would say it's 4 years old, so it's doing okay. Then this corner I've got unknown pomegranate tree, which I've got the same tree at the front, sweet variety. Then this tree was in one of our friend's house. It's probably more than 10 years old, but they were moving to Queensland, and they said if you like to move it, you can move it. It's very similar to Azerbaijani variety, but it's bigger fruit. So I know it's the wrong season to move it, but we had no choice. They were moving, and we couldn't get access in July there, so in winter, so we decided to move it, take the risk. We tried to save the roots as much as we could. I brought it in this house, in this spot, about 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, so still it got some green leaves. Hopefully I can keep it alive. It was a good variety. On the ground you see I had some rock melon, so they're still doing okay. This spot we had on the ground we had watermelons, which I cleaned up last week. So then we have Azerbaijani. This is about a year and a half. Last year I planted this tree, and then first time it gives me 2 fruits, so I can't wait. On the hedge you can, on the fence I mean, or you can see some black passion fruit, very young again, and then it's flowering and it's fruiting as well. So yeah. Passion fruit has a beautiful flower. That one is Parfianca pomegranate. Very good variety. I had that in a pot for 1 year, and then I realized it's not doing very well. I nearly killed the tree, so we decided to plant it here. So last July, about 8 months ago, we planted this in the ground, and it's doing well. As you can see, it's got one fruit as well. It's a very good variety. I reckon it's top pomegranate in Australia, Parfianca. Then here we have Lapin's cherry. I would say it's 4 or 5 years old. Beautiful cherry. And then here I've got flat peach. About 4 months ago I planted that. Okay, that is our dwarf persimmon tree. It's loaded this year. Last year gave me a lot of fruit as well, and this year I thought maybe it give me less, but no, it's loaded. So this one is a non-astringent variety. It's a dwarf variety. I believe that particular tree came from Dalai Nursery. Most of my trees come from either Dalai Nursery or Perry's Fruit and Nuts Nursery. I really trust these two nurseries. Then I showed you that one, so that's my angel peach, which is a donut peach they call it. We had some cucumber on the ground, some dwarf tomatoes. All of them are finished now. Late season now. I have to clean up. I have some cleanup job to do, but don't get time. This one is strawberry guava, or cherry guavas they call it. This one is sort of like a darker variety. Next to it we had the yellow variety as well, but somehow it got some sort of disease. I did end up cutting it down. I'm hoping to reshoot again and I'll train the tree again, but if it doesn't matter, that's fine. I think this hedge is enough for us. It gives us a lot of fruit. So that's our Parfianca again. Believe it or not, when I planted that in July, from pot to here, the tree was up to the hair. So this summer is just gone crazy. So as you can see, I had some space here for some chilies, so I planted some chilies on the borders. Now this fence, I try to use it as much as I can, so I planted some plums and trying them to be a spalier shape. This one is Mariposa variety. That one is Satsuma. Again, this tree was in the pot for maybe 6 years, and then it wasn't doing well. Last July I decided to put it in the ground, and I'm happy I've done it because I saved the tree. It's start growing again. It was close to be a dead tree in the pot. I believe growing fruit trees in the pot is possible, but it's very, very, very difficult. I had a lot of issues with the pot, with keep the moisture level right. So as you can see, I was close to lose my plum trees, my pomegranate trees, even some of the figs, believe it or not, wasn't doing well. The first couple of years, yes, you can grow them, but as the tree gets older, it gets more difficult to have them in the pots. That's what I found out anyway. That's my experience. This one is sort of like a dead end of our house. We're not using it much. See, it's next to our shed. So I decided to put like a green gauge variety and golden drop variety plums there. Young trees, 2 years old, 3 years old. These two haven't fruited yet, but these two, they did. So Mariposa and Satsuma are Japanese variety, and Golden Drop and Green Gage are European plums. They pollinate with each other, and the Japanese plums pollinate with each other as well. So I'm hoping to get some fruits with the European varieties in the next couple of years. Let's go at the back of the shed. Okay, so that is the back of the shed. I made this here next to the shed and the house, and I planted that one there on top of the shed. You can see like a grapevine tree. I planted on the back of the shed, on the side of the shed in the ground, and I'm training it to come on top of the shed and come up here. It's probably couple of years project, but I think next year branches will reach, and then in next few years I'm trying to keep the vines here. That's the plan anyway. Let's see if it works. So as you can see, I've tried to use every space. So this one is a miniature pear tree. I'm trying to grow it here and then make the espalier that way, fill up maybe some of that area there. And then this one, my apple tree, 2 years old, trying to train it to espalier shape. I might go one more level on top. So this one is a red variety. I can't remember the name of it. Red Delicious. So that's Red Delicious, and this one I believe is the golden variety. And they're the European plums, Green Gage and Golden Drops, and that's the grape one I'm talking about. So I planted there. It's going up here, and then all the way on top of the sheds. It's going to the right directions. But it takes time. I would say next summer I'll reach here. I did have that grapes in the pot here for a few years, and then I realized, yeah, it's not doing well, so I decided to plant it in the ground. Alright, I think that's about it from my garden. I hope you liked it. I'll try to make more videos, try to make some reviews for some fruit trees when we get them, and hopefully you like them. Thanks everyone, happy gardening, bye.